Well, hello and welcome to another Her Loyal Sons Picks podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ritter. You can call me ND Tex. And as always, you can catch us live over on twitch.tv/Her Loyal Sons. You can subscribe to the podcast over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at. Join us in Discord. That is our live chat channel, herloyalsons.com/Discord. And of course, you can always find us at our home at herloyalsons.com. With that said, it is time to bring in Eddie. Eddie, how you doing, sir?
As we enter the spooky season, I hope that Bo Schembechler's bigoted ass rises from the grave so we can put his ass back in the ground on Saturday. Let's fucking go.
Well, maybe Zomball's like Zombie Bo, his hero.
Well, neither one's won a title, so it works.
Hey, at least Bo went to a Rose Bowl. Look, the guy lost it all the time, but at least he went.
True.
He does have that over Harbaugh. But yeah, I'm feeling the spirit of the week. I got my Muck Michigan shirt on. I put the HLS merch to the side for now. I had to bust this bad boy out at least once this week, and I even wrote something this week because Harbaugh's a freaking idiot. With the like, nobody actually probably should believe the rumors that he was going to have an exit strategy and go to the NFL, because I don't know who the hell would hire him, but he had to go disavow it today. It did so in the most Harbaugh-y way possible.
Yeah, that's his agent trying to do damage control because he knows that his client's 2 losses away from getting fired.
What? He doesn't have an agent. Tweet sent by staff.
Fucking Christ.
Sorry, I had to make that joke. Benny, this shirt is no longer for sale because I bought it from somebody in Soren in my dorm where it was not maybe the most legal thing in the world. We'll just put it that way.
I was going to say, was that sophomore year that those were floating around campus?
It was sophomore year. And my buddies over in the Quint. It's funny, my rector actually wrote a book, and the story about how he busted them with the shirts were in there. And the reason they got busted is beautiful, because it's one of those things where everybody kind of knows what's happening, and it's a matter of, when do I get these guys in trouble? When does it get bad to where I got to do damage control? And that moment for him was when a group of girls came, and this is so stupid, they knocked on his door and said, "We heard the Muck Michigan shirts were being sold here. Where are they at?" So he sent them on a wild goose chase somewhere. You don't ask the priest where a Muck Michigan shirt is. What the hell is wrong with you?
That's fantastic.
So then he walks over to the room where he knows they're being sold, just sits down. It's like, so, had an interesting conversation. Told him, I sent him in a direction, somewhere else, a different dorm, because I said there's no way anybody in this dorm would ever sell such illegal memorabilia, because if they were to be caught, they would probably be kicked out of the dorm and suspended by the university. And he just kind of casually walked out, and that was the last anybody saw the shirts. But
they did good business, though, because there were a lot of those floating around on campus.
There were a ton. It went up at pretty much, like, I think the Thursday of game week or something. It was really close. I got a lot of sideways looks from Michigan people when I was wearing it on campus, but that was the year they actually upset Michigan, and we rushed the field.
We did.
Yeah.
I remember that. Darius Walker had himself a fucking day on that one.
He did indeed. And other related stories. So the same room that sold the shirts, you remember the story of Rema McKnight losing his helmet?
I do.
That was from the same room for the people that sold these shirts.
That's fantastic. Sadly, that's a longer story for probably another pod.
Oh man, yeah, that was some great times. But there's actually a picture of my rector wearing that helmet after he had caught him with it. So, all right, but we're not here to talk about old stories about beating Michigan, because we will have new stories about beating Michigan. We are here, folks, to give you some picks, and last week was not too bad. You finally dipped below 500 for the first week in October, Eddie. You 6-8, me 7-7. So that means I finally gained a game on you. I have the lead. Look at that.
Yeah, there were some games that went the way that they should not have gone, but that's all right. I'm not worried about it. We're still going to get hot in October. We're good. Let's go, baby.
Oh, yeah. Well, hold it. Let's go, baby. Let's hold it. Because I got to talk about the HLS pick'em, too. Where Malme Muchachos now has 2 people nipping at his heels. 6 games behind is FCHS and Fitter. They both at 100 wins. And Maumee Muchachos at 106 wins. 106 and 64. God bless. Still.
I really hope you were putting money on these, because if not, you're just wasting your time.
Absolutely. If you're wondering how I'm doing in the pick'em, I'm slowly climbing my way out of the gutter. I am 88 and 82 in there, so a little bit better than my pick'em record here, a little bit better than my record in real life as well. But I tell you what, now, Eddie, I think it is time that we get moving, sir.
Let's go, baby!
All right, and we bring up that beautiful board, and we start off. There's no Wednesday Night Football tonight. We got NBA basketball. We got World Series to tide us over. But Thursday, Eddie, we got the Ponies.
Ponies!
And that is number 16, SMU, a full 2-touchdown favorite against Houston. At 65.5 is your total. Eddie, this game, SMU going on the road. Who you picking in this Texas matchup?
Lay them points. Ponies over everybody right now. Are you kidding me? They're killing the game right now. They went up against the conference's best defense in Temple last week and dropped 45 on them, like they've been dropping on everybody. Meanwhile, you've got this Houston team. Holgerson's trying to control his roster like an over-caffeinated 12-year-old on NCAA 14. Apparently, in the middle of the game last week, he was caught yelling, "I can't coach this bullshit." No one in Houston gives a shit. The Rockets have started up. The Astros are in the World Series. Houston's done, man. Like, they don't want to be there. There was the whole story from the one guy who was going to take the red shirt but was injured and was like, yeah, no, Holgerson pretty much told me to just kick rocks. This team is going the wrong way. Meanwhile, the Ponies are dropping 45 on everyone. Give me them Ponies. Let's go. Get old Bouchelle a gold Trans Am. Let's roll full into this.
I agree with everything Eddie said. I mean, more particularly, I took Temple. Very, very poor choice on my end, because I'm like, yeah, they got a good defense, so keep it close. They did not keep it close. So that was an easy cover town there for Eddie in that one. That was one of the ones I did lose last week. And yes, Holgerson is doing, I've never thought I'd see what it would look like if a college football team tanked actively. But with the new redshirt rules, that's basically what Holgerson is doing. The star players are redshirting, so that's why this spread is as high as it is, and I don't think it's high enough. If they cover easily against Temple, I think I can lay 2 touchdowns on a team, like you said, Eddie, that just does not give 2 shits right now. It's all imploding. It's very weird. This is going to be a great study to see how this gambit works out a couple years down the line. Oh no, Eddie's lost me? Oh, I'm still here, bud. I'm still here and I'm still talking.
Hey, there you are.
I don't know where you think I went. I was still online. I was still doing good. But anyway.
I had no audio. Sorry about that.
I think your headphones must have shorted or something. But anyways, I'm still here. I'm taking the Ponies. I'm laying the 14. This should get murdery. It'll be a nice Thursday night blowout. Next up, we'll have a little bit of weird Friday night football Pac-12 action here, as Southern Cal visits Colorado as a 13.5-point favorite. Total on this one is 62 and the hook. And I tell you what, I don't know what got into SC. Apparently they played a running back that they did not decide to play against us. And I forget his name off the top of my head, but he just absolutely destroyed Arizona. He completely broke them. It was easy cover and then some for them. And now they're facing a very hapless Colorado team that they do not have it this season. As much as I hate to do it, as much as I don't like seeing SC winning, I don't care about resume. And if you're sitting there, Tex, you should cheer for SC because resume in the playoffs, I don't care. I just don't. I always want to see SC lose, but I don't think they're losing this one. I'll go ahead and take that 2-touchdown lay here as well. Who do you got, Eddie?
Well, first off, I want to say, if anyone ever tries to tell me I should root for SC, you're blocked instantly. That's no brainer. Get fucked. I hate you as a person. Now, on this game, Can we just quit picking Pac-12 games? Good God.
They keep playing on Friday nights. I can't help it.
SC comes out and just beats the hell out of Arizona. Meanwhile, Colorado goes and gets stomped by a Wazoo team that, spoiler alert for a pick later, isn't all that good. I don't think Colorado's got it. They're going way the wrong way. I don't trust Crampet slip slides yet, but he's good enough. And there's nobody on Colorado that can cover those receivers. So I think USC is going to be able to score at will. And in the ongoing saga of dumb old coaches saying really stupid shit, Colorado's coach this week came out and said, these players are going to learn real quick that there's not a transfer portal when you're a grown-up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that was him.
You can just move to another job, like you've done your entire coaching career. Get fucked, Buffs. I hope you get stomped.
Has he never heard of LinkedIn?
Has he looked at his own Wikipedia page? Like, what the fuck, man? God. And then you get, since we're not picking the UConn game, because why in God's name would you? Randy Edsall's out here blaming headphones and Fortnite, not the fact that he's just a shitty coach who's only concerned about his entire contract of prop bets each week. He knows he's going to get fucking stomped because he's terrible at his job, but he's going to blame video games and cell phones? Shut the fuck up. You're a shitty coach. Maybe that's the problem.
That was a good interlude, Rand. And by the way, they're favored against UMass. Little bonus pick. I might actually consider taking UMass on that one.
Man, UMass is real bad though.
So is UConn. Yeah, you know what? The under might be your best play.
Yeah, no kidding. But hey, Randy Edsall's going to pick up an extra $78 if he has a third down completion percentage of 23 by his quarterback.
He has the weirdest contract in college football. The prop bet contract is the best way to describe that.
I mean, I love it personally, but like Randy Edsall sucks and he's trash.
All right, okay, let's move on here. Let's get into some actual picks in football here. We're gonna move on to Saturday, where number 5 Oklahoma on the road is a 23.5 point favorite against Kansas State. The total here is 57.5. Who do you got, Eddie?
I'll give K-State this. They're coming off a nice win against TCU, but this is still a team that got stomped by Baylor. And aside from OU crashing an old-timey wooden vehicle into Jalen Hurts', I don't see anything slowing down here. I think OU should just stomp them out. And one thing that's been interesting this week, Vegas, I don't know if the alien tech was on the fritz. I don't know if a full moon messed with the signals or what, but there are a bunch of lines that had a ton of movement. This game opened at 20, and it has had to move 3.5 points. I mean, they haven't been able to catch up. So I don't know what's going on with Vegas, but they're having a weird week. But I think the Sooners, you'd have to go a lot higher for me to consider taking K-State in this game.
Yeah, like Eddie says, and here's what he's talking about. It's a weird week because usually these kind of numbers would make Eddie run a little bit. But because Vegas is moving, it's not. And what I'm talking about is 71% of the tickets, 79% of the money on OU. But like Eddie says, it's moved by damn near 4 points. So that doesn't tell you that Vegas is like, okay, the public's going to pay us and add another wing to our big-ass building. That's saying Vegas trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. I will say, though, because you mentioned the Schooner, I am sad to report, Eddie, the Schooner is officially out for the season. At best, it will be repaired and be a visual stationary object. So bench for the rest of the season. Pour one out for the Sooner Schooner.
Shout out to the two bros running alongside who maybe looked for half a second at the poor girl that had to combat roll off as the wagon fell apart and then rushed over to check the wagon.
Every roughneck went to there were two roughnecks that went after the horse, which made sense so they don't trample everybody and hurt themselves. Every other roughneck went right after the Schooner. Every last one.
It was so good.
Even I mean, if there's the guy that's like looking around that also feels like, what the hell, guys?
The Gus Johnson call talking about, yeah, that's what they teach you to do in jiu-jitsu. What the fuck are we doing, Gus?
Oh, we're having fun. By the way, just in case I didn't make it clear, I'm also taking OU here. Look, right now Jalen Hurts is in such murder mode in the Big 12 right now. I don't think anybody can stop him. So I'm just going to keep riding this until the the wheels fall off, if you will.
The wheels all stayed on. It doesn't even make sense.
No, the wheels got ripped off. They came off, Eddie.
Oh, fair enough.
All right. Anyways, Wisconsin and Ohio State is our next game. Number 13 against number 3. The number 3 team in the nation is favored at home by 14.5. That is quite a big number in this matchup. And Wisconsin coming fresh off a loss to the Illini, which Eddie and I both whiffed on heavily because God knows none of us saw that one coming. I don't expect much of a bounce back here because Ohio State is just really that damn good. Their defense is one of the best in the Big Ten. Wisconsin's was as well, and I don't know what the heck happened in Illinois, but they have yet to face an offense like Ohio State. Excuse me. They have probably played some of the worst offenses thus far in the Big Ten. Now they're going to run against a murder machine. And again, Ohio State's another one of those teams. They just keep consistently beating the number. Until those wheels fall off, I'm riding that one too. So go ahead and give me the Buckeyes. Who do you got, Eddie?
You know, we talk a lot about look-ahead games and how that can trip teams up. But when Wisconsin was such a big favorite that my local didn't even list a money line on the game, that's more than just a look-ahead. A lot of people who have been kind of throwing shade on Wisconsin all year, even, you know, while they were still undefeated, was, okay, yeah, you're looking good, but who are you doing it against? You know, these teams are not that impressive that you're beating. What's going to happen when you play an actual team? I don't think I'm ready to classify Illinois as an actual team, but I'm sure as hell ready to call Ohio State one. They are fantastic, much like OU. Until I've got a reason to, I do not see myself picking against them. It especially helps that this is at the shoe. I don't like the hook at all, but honestly, I'm not too concerned about it. You know, the problem Wisconsin has is they are completely one-dimensional, which made the end of that game that much dumber. What are you doing throwing the ball when you have Jonathan Taylor?
I remember when I usually don't write much for the show, but when I wrote that in my show notes and I said, including an interception that led to the game winning field goal, and I stopped and said, wait a minute. What?
Yeah, wait, what? Why? Paul Christ, who hurt you? What do you do? You know, unless Jonathan Taylor is literally getting his leg amputated, give him the damn rock.
Even then, give somebody else the ball.
Yeah, I mean, with that O-line, what are you doing? But yeah, Ohio State's looking scary. I will say I don't like where the tickets are at. It's 70-67 right now, and there's a lot of money, a lot of tickets on it. Again, it's
and
for
this
Wednesday.
Line has not moved, and it is the most bet game that we will discuss today.
Yeah, but you know, I don't like the hook, but I don't really think it's going to come into play. I'm going to go ahead and take the Buckeyes here. Hey, shout out to old friends Ramsey, who has been on the site in one way or another a couple times. The 11 Warriors guys are doing their tailgate this week, so if you happen to be a Buckeyes fan or listening to this and you're going to the game, go check out the 11 Warriors gate. It's a good thing they do every year. All the proceeds go to charity. They're good dudes, so check that out. Shout out to Ramsey.
Yeah, very good people. Ramsey Nasrallah, who has been on the show before when it was actually on the radio way back in the day, when he was previewing the national title game that Ohio State won. So,
they used to put your sorry ass on the radio. Yeah. Hilarious.
And now I'm on Twitch. That should tell you everything you need to know. All right, well, we've agreed for 4 in a row. Let's see if anything changes here. Let's see if you feel like this one will get a little bit weird. Number 15, Texas, who survives a very, very stellar Kansas squad, I think we'd all agree, is a 1.5-point favorite on the road here, somewhat close in my backyard at TCU. 59 points is your total. Eddie, you feeling a little upset brewing?
This line stinks. I don't get it. TCU's only 3-3, and one of those wins is against a 1AA team. Yeah, Texas looked like shit last week, but TCU lost Kansas State. By the way, if you didn't see the Texas-Kansas game, the fourth quarter was batshit insane.
It was a fucking dog show.
It was amazing. It was the Pac-12 After Dark type show that you usually expect out west. It was fantastic to watch.
Longhorn Network After Dark.
Yeah, exactly. Usually you just I'm not going to make that joke. Either way,
coward.
UT barely escaped old Les Miles. TCU is coming off that loss. You could argue that TCU's going the wrong way, but UT's D is very suspect, as we have seen throughout the year. Granted, their offense should be better, but it feels like a lot of their guys are banged up. I don't know what's going on. Old Sammy, he's making plays, but he seems like he's taking a couple shots. I don't know how healthy he is right now. And at the end of the day, look, Texas only won by 2 against Kansas. When TCU played Kansas, 51-14. This line stinks. I don't get it. I'm going to take the Frogs.
I cannot believe we're going to be simpatico again, Eddie.
Damn. I thought this one for sure.
I'm looking at this, and we've talked about how we're not quite at Blood Week yet, but there's enough chum in the water right now. I think we may have some. And I'm looking at this one right here as a prime suspect. Because let's go over and check the tickets and the money. 85% of the tickets, 80% of the money, and this line has only moved half a point. The hook is the only thing that has been added so far for Texas being favored in this. I'm with Eddie. This line stinks. It doesn't make sense. Usually when there's this, and there's a ton of tickets on here. Where we're talking about loads of tickets on Ohio State, there are just a couple hundred less on this one right now. Something ain't right. Vegas knows something we don't. This just all screams. It's a trap. And I don't trust it. I don't trust it. You can't make me trust it. Give me the Frogs for an upset. We might sprinkle a little bit on the money line in this one and get super weird. Next up, somehow Minnesota is undefeated, and they are a 17-point favorite against Maryland. And I tell you what, Maryland started the season. They're like, oh man, this offense looks like we got something here. They faced Temple and got their whole ass exposed. Ever since then, Maryland has just not been able to put it together whatsoever. It's not that they play down to anybody else. It's just that they haven't showed up after week 2. As weird as some of Minnesota's games have been, they've really been putting together, once conference play started, a pretty consistent string of victories. They still haven't faced their harder games yet. I expect those boats to keep rolling right now. I don't trust Maryland one bit. 17 is a shit ton to lay. I honestly don't trust PJ Fleck this much. Stay away from this game. Don't bet it. But I'll take Minnesota here in our pick'em. Who do you got, Eddie?
I have no fear. My history of talking up PJ Fleck on this podcast is fairly long and distinguished. This team's 4-1 against the number against 1A teams. They've been killing teams lately. Beat the shit out of Rutgers, beat the shit out of Nebraska, beat the shit out of Illinois, it was a close one against Purdue. Flip over to Maryland. Their last 4 games, okay, you beat Rutgers. Good work. Glad you won your high school scrimmage. They lost to Indiana, got stomped by Purdue, and obviously got killed by Penn State 59-0. Maryland started hot and got everybody all excited, and they are pretty much dead in the water at this point. Minnesota may be at a Wisconsin level before last week of, okay, they're beating the hell out of teams, but they're not good teams. But Maryland's not a good team, so I don't think it's a problem yet. We're going to row that boat, baby, and I'm on it.
All
I'm
right.
no coward.
I just don't trust Minnesota right now. They've had a weird season, even though it's getting less weird right now. I just can't do it.
That's fair.
Just can't trust them. All right, we're going to get one more Big Ten game in before we start in SEC land after the break. And that is one of the aforementioned teams you were talking about that waxed Maryland. And that is number 6 Penn State. After their look, I just have to say, you assholes, you had Michigan dead to rights. How you left that back door wide open, you freaking jackasses. Oh, I'm so mad at you. I had such a great day going, and you all fucking ruined the night. Anyways.
It's almost like James Franklin is not to be trusted on game days.
Really weird. Really, really weird. Anyways, I wonder if that's going to come into play here in a second. Penn State is a 6.5-point favorite on the road against Sparty. Total in this one is 44. Who do you got, Eddie?
Here I haven't been able to use it really all year, and this is the second one this week. This line fucking stinks. Out loud. Sparty is terrible. I mean, they have absolutely no offense. Yes, Penn State let up the gas because James Franklin's a fucking idiot. But you would honestly think, based on how things have gone this year, that if Penn State scored 10 points in this game, that the spread would be safe. KJ Hamler is easily the best player on the field. But currently, and as always, it's Wednesday, but 72% of the tickets, 73% of the money's on Penn State.
A lot of tickets, though. A lot of tickets.
A lot of tickets, only moved half a point. You've got an emotional letdown coming off of the big win in the whiteout. You've got to go to East Lansing, which is never fun. I don't know what the weather's like there, but if it's going to be gray and wet and cold, then good Lord, then you're just going to get the full powers of Michigan State unleashed upon you. It's going to be rainy and then the high 40s. Hell yeah. That's perfect Sparty weather. Sparty's coming off a bye. I hate everything about this pick, but this line stinks. Let me play the house, especially if it stays at 6.5 and I could buy up the hook, or I end up getting the hook. Yeah, give me Sparty.
Yeah, shop around, kids. You stole a lot of my thunder here, and it's not
Come on.
It's not quite a wonder because the wind is about 9 miles an hour. It's not quite up in those double digits yet. But I mean, this is all kinds of weird right now. I completely agree, Eddie. This always means bad things, so fade the hell out of all of us, because this usually ends poorly for us.
Roll them up, tease them, parlay them, round robin.
Oh, man, yes, the fades are in play. Because here's what Michigan State's done this season, for those of you that have come in late to the game here.
Ooh, not a damn thing.
28-7 against Tulsa, 51-17 against Western Michigan, 10-7 loss against Herm, 31-10 against Northwestern, 40-31 against Indiana, and then Ohio State 34-10 they lose, and they get shut out by Wisconsin 38-0. Now they have had a bye week, which I also like going into this one, and because of that weather, this has every indication of an absolutely stupid rock fight that James Franklin, like you noted, and should not be trusted on game day, is going to get drug into. The line is weird. I would think that Penn State would be over a touchdown, and like you said, Eddie, public betting hard, and that line has not moved much at all. I'm gonna go ahead and take the points. This is very strange. All right, well, we at least to start the show in the first half have agreed, but we'll see what happens when we get to some of the other games here after the break. All right, folks, I'm going to hit that Twitch ad. This is your reminder that you can support the show and skip the ads by becoming a subscriber, whether it's Twitch Prime for free, and you should see a little thing highlighted if you can use that sub. So we're going to go ahead and hit the ad, and I'm going to grab another drink, and we'll be right back. All right, ad is off. I'm going to go grab another one. I'll be right back. I must say, I like being able to get refills during the show. That's a nice change. Sometimes ads are good. Clearwall needs sugar before he starts drinking. Cherry, vanilla, Dr. Pepper. Man, that's a sugar rush and a half. All right, you over there, Eddie? We're almost out of the ad. Now I hear something. You back, bud?
Yeah, bud.
Okay. All right, we just got out of the ad, so we will resume shortly. All right, we are back, and it is time to head over into a top 10 matchup. We're coming in the second segment hot, and that is number 9 Auburn against number 2 LSU. LSU favored by 11. Total in this one is 58.5. This game pains me, Eddie. This game pains me.
Don't do this. Don't abandon your family. I need some anger against you this week. Please, Ryan, don't do this.
There is no way, Eddie. There's just no way I won't take the points in the shootout. War Eagle, baby! Who do you got, Eddie?
Thank you. Finally, Tigers are going to beat that ass.
Wait, hold on. Which ones?
There you go.
Got it.
LSU on the big win coming. I still don't think Auburn's that good. I don't know how they're a top 10 team. I think that ranking is horseshit.
That I honestly don't. I will 100% agree with that.
Beating a completely dead-in-the-water Arkansas is not going to fucking impress me. Bo Nix at Death Valley. I mean, we've seen Bo Nix do some dumb shit the last few weeks. You put him at Death Valley? Nah, man. This team lost to Florida, who LSU could score against at will. Yes, Auburn's D-line is very good, but they really haven't been terribly productive. Does that sound familiar?
Not at all.
I feel like Bo Nix is going to have a bad time at Death Valley, and nobody has been able to stop LSU's offense. I mean, I feel like we made a lot of Joe Burrow jokes, but again,
hard to make him now.
As of right now, I think he's pretty clear in a way the Heisman winner up to today. Obviously, plenty of time left in the season, but up to today, I don't know if anybody's been better. I think LSU wins this, and I think they win this handily.
I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting. I agree that Bo Nix is probably going to have some implosion moments, but LSU's defense as well is not as stout as I thought it would be. I think we saw some of that in Texas. I think we also really saw it in Florida. I think Auburn's just going to bring it just enough to make it interesting. But yeah, I feel shootout in this one. I tell you what, a side I really believe in here, Eddie, is the over. This is a side I really believe in on this one.
What's the total at?
58.5. I could see both teams putting up 30.
Yeah, I think that should be able to get covered easy. Yeah. The only thing that worries me is if Bo Nix starts getting shaky. I don't know if we're going to go full honk if you sacked Brody Croyle in this game, but we could get close.
All right, let's stay in the SEC, Eddie. You want to call the Hogs that may get murdered by Alabama?
Nope. I don't give a shit who's playing quarterback. Do you know who Alabama's quarterback is this week?
I honestly do not. I forget the gentleman's name.
You just ruined the fucking bit, Ryan.
Oh well. Sorry.
It is Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. Who? Well, you can call 281-330-8004. Because Mac Jones, he won't be on the low, and the spread's about to blow. Bama's going to fucking murk Arkansas. Arkansas is dead. Oh, man. I really thought Chad Morris was going to do some things. I thought he left SMU too quick. But maybe he needs to get a headset back on, go back up in the booth somewhere. Things have not been fun for old Chadwick.
I think he may agree that he left SMU too soon with what's going on down there right now. I think he would agree with that sentiment right now.
Ponies!
Look, here's the thing. Arkansas has just been straight up getting murdered. The aforementioned Auburn just ripped a 50-plus burger on him without even trying. It was absolutely embarrassing. Arkansas is a complete mess, even though, yes, Alabama has backup quarterback syndrome going on right now. It's not going to matter. It's really not. Roll Tide. I'm taking it. I think all the weirdness is over. Excuse me. I cannot get half a breath right now. All right. Let's move over to the ACC very briefly. We only got one game we're going to pick in this weird-ass conference. And it's going to involve our good old friends over at Boston College, who is a 34-point dog on the road to number 4 Clemson. 58.5 is your total. And look, I know there was a lot of talk about, oh, well, Trevor Lawrence, he's looking a little shaky. Maybe he's having a little sophomore slump. Man, as much as I believed in Louisville and thought they'd have some fight, despite the fact that Trevor Lawrence got off to a bad start, they still had Travis Etienne. And they ran all over Louisville. And the thing is, that Clemson defense, it's still really, really, really good. And that's the thing that carries the day. So once the offense figures it out, and they end up doing it every single time, because here's the thing, they're just that much better than everyone. They end up bludgeoning the other team to death. Boston College has got nothing resembling an offense. Their defense, they're not even a one-dimensional team as far as they got one side that's good. Their defense is not that great at all. It's going to be murdery. Give me the Tigers. Who you got, Eddie?
Yeah, as we talked about coming into the season, Boston College had been relying on their defense the last couple of years, and they graduated most of those guys. Meanwhile, they've lost their starting quarterback to injury. There's only so much A.J. Dillon can do. That poor guy. Poor bastard. Probably wishes he could have left last year. But like we said, man, we said Clemson was going to wake up and get angry at some point. We both said maybe the bye week and getting deep into conference play is what's going to do it. And you look at the last 2 weeks, 45-14 against Florida State, 45-10 against Louisville. I don't see him slowing down. I'm going to take Clemson. And, that's a big line. It reeks of backdoor.
So did Louisville, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, and Louisville's offense is a hell of a lot better than BC's is right now. I was actually very surprised that Louisville got stomped out as bad as they did. But like you said, Etienne took that over. Trevor Lawrence looked legit bad in that game.
He did. The entire first half was ugly as hell.
I mean, some of those picks were horrendous, but then he had some balls that, turns out when you got a guy like Justin Ross who can make insanely athletic catches over a dude, you don't have to be that accurate. So, yeah, give me Clemson.
Yeah, and speaking of, they're going to wake up and get angry. Did you hear, look, I hate a lot of what Dabo says and does, but did you hear one of his comments that made me really feel like Clemson's about to get murdery?
I try as hard as I can to avoid listening to anything Dabo says because fuck that guy.
Yeah, this came from our friends at the Punkcast where he was talking about, well, he knows what the scoring average has been the last 2 years, and he knows they're a little behind, and he just kind of looked at the media and says, yeah, that last 0.7 is really hard to get. Just deadpan. Like, oh, fuck. Look, Dabo sent some poor kid. He stuck him with the managers on the bus, fuck you, Clemson. With the managers. If Notre Dame flew, we flew. If Notre Dame was on a bus, we were on the bus. What the hell are you scared? You got the money. Fly everyone, man. That was still funny though.
That's fair. Well, no, he had it coming. That was bad.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing dumber than somebody trying to punch a guy in the face when they're wearing a helmet.
Face mask on.
The fuck do you think you're gonna do, my guy?
Break your hand.
Dummy. Yeah, that. I will never ever support probably anything Dabo says or does, but I didn't have a problem with that one.
No, it was some Dabo weirdness, but it wasn't overly weird. All right, it's time to pick a Herm game, Eddie.
Fuck this game. Just every part of this.
I haven't even listed both sides yet.
I already know what's coming, and I don't want to do this.
Number 24, Arizona State, a 3.5-point favorite on the road against UCLA. Total here is 55.5. Eddie, I know you don't want to do it, but you're up, sir.
Good Lord. These two teams. If I could avoid even seeing, thinking, or hearing about these two teams for the rest of the year, I would be more than happy to do it.
Well, at least this is on the Pac-12 network, so you won't be watching it.
Of course I'll probably be watching. Actually, no. Assuming we win, I'm going to go get drunk and go to a concert or something and get in some shenanigans. Look, Arizona State, we tried Tristan Herm for a second time last week. And how'd that work out for us?
Really?
Oh, no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. I was like, no, we faded. We went back to our principles.
We did go back to our principles. That's right. Oh, no, I know what it was. We picked 13.5. The line moved to 16. I was like, oh, that might be too many. And so I bet Herm, which is even more painful.
Oh, Eddie. Yeah.
Well, the line moved to 16. I was like, that's so many points.
Gotta
and then they lost
by your principles.
Well, and there was rain. I got confused. I don't know. The win the week before really threw me off my game. And then you've got UCLA. Good Lord, UCLA. Who are you? What are you? You beat Washington State in a game that had 140 points. Then you lose to Arizona. Then you lose to the Beavs. The second place in their division, Oregon State Beavers now.
Oh!
Hilarious. They have cashed their over on wins for the season with 3.
And there goes your wait. You had Bowling Green, not.
Yeah, I have Bowling Green, which has turned into it's still a little bit of a sweat.
Second half season sweat coming.
Yeah, you lose to Oregon State, and then you come out and beat Stanford by 18. I hate this. This is all bad. I'm relying on the tickets here. It's 79% of bets, but only 59% of the money. Yeah, it's moved a point. Yeah, there aren't that many bets on it. I don't care. Fuck these teams. Fuck this game. Give me UCLA, I guess. Fuck Herm.
Oh, man. Yeah. And right now, like, UCLA, yeah, I have no idea what they are either. I completely agree with Eddie. I'm not sure what that team even is right now. Arizona State, I know what they are. They're Eno Benjamin, and that's it. If he can be
very good. He's very good. I do want to say my Herm hatred does not reach Eno Benjamin. He is incredibly good.
But the problem is, when your one weapon is a running back, you kind of know how to defend him. I don't think Chip's a dummy. I don't think UCLA's defense is that great, but I think they'll be able to do enough to stuff a run. I think UCLA's defense, as Washington State proved, is a little bit more porous against the pass. They still beat Washington State anyway. UCLA's getting a little bit more healthy. I think they're a little bit more complete of a team now than they were at the beginning of the season. They kind of figured some things out. They're still not that good, but neither is Arizona State. They're going to fuck around and lose this one. Give me UCLA. All right, next up, we're going to stay with a little bit of Pac-12 weirdness as Utah is a 21.5 point favorite at home against Cal. The total in this one, Eddie, 37.5. Again, let me give you those numbers again. 21.5 Utah is favored. The total is 37.5. Yeah, this game's definitely going to be 24-0. Utah is on some serious murder shit after last week. Cal has proven to be fraudulent long time ago. This is going to get murdery. It's going to get ugly. Give me the Utes. Who do you got, Eddie?
Look, Utah's the better team. Obviously, Cal is on a terrible run. Lost last week to, again, the mighty resurgent Oregon State, second place in the Division Beavers, which is going to be funny to say for a long time. 10-point loss to Oregon. 7-point loss to fucking Herm. That all being said, Utah doesn't do this with points. These two teams combined, they've played 12 combined games against 1A teams. Do you know how many times they've gone over in those 12 games?
As far as over the total?
Over the total in those 12 games against 1A opponents.
I'm thinking Utah may have done it once, and that's it. They may have done it last week.
Utah's done it once. Cal has done it once. And I realized that we're talking about a total in the 30s. I don't care. A lot of the totals have been in the low 40s. I just don't think there are enough points that are going to be scored in this game.
Cal is going to score.
Especially getting the hook. I might not need him to score. I don't think Utah is going to score more than 3 touchdowns in this game. I will have points here.
All right. So we finally disagree again. All right. One more Pac-12 game. This is the chaser. This is Pac-12 After Dark. Number 11, Oregon, a 14-point favorite against Washington State. Hat tip to you, Oregon. We appreciate now being the only defense with an active 30 points or less defensive streak. Good work against Washington. But 14-point favorite against the Pirate Mike Leach. 65 points is your total. Who Who do you got, Eddie?
Well, I don't like this line at all. 14 feels like too many. But that being said, Washington State is on a bad run. Yeah, you beat Colorado last week, and you beat them pretty handily. But Colorado really hasn't done much this year. Before that, lost to Arizona State, stomped by Utah, lost to UCLA in a game that should be Leach's wheelhouse, 63-67.
That game should be put in a museum.
Goodness, what a bizarre game that was. I only saw part of it streaming like 10 minutes behind on the Pac-12 network in an Airbnb in Athens, Georgia, while just sad and broken in life. Oregon, they're on a great run. Beat Stanford, beat Cal, beat Colorado. That huge win over Washington last week. They're looking good. I really don't like how big this spread is, but that being said, I have no reason to trust Washington State. I'm going to go ahead and lay the points with the Ducks here.
All right, I agree, Eddie. I can't trust Leach right now. I think Wazoo's trending in the wrong direction, as we've stated before here on this podcast. And Oregon seems to be doing they're not the Oregon of old. I'm not expecting them to just be this murderous offense going crazy right now. Herbert hasn't looked great for the majority of the season. He's put very few complete games together, I think is a very generous thing to say about his season so far. But here's the thing about Oregon that I don't know if it gets talked about enough, or at least because of what we think Oregon is, but their defense is actually pretty damn good. Washington's really the only team that has put up a solid fight against them. Even Auburn, that game week 1 was crazy, but Auburn didn't put up a whole lot of points against them either. The crystal ball has kind of changed the mentality of this team. They got a tougher defense, and I think they'll be able to keep Leach's offense at bay. And I actually like this game under as well, as weird as that is to say, in an Oregon-Washington State game.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it's weird. I think you know what Oregon's been doing this season, but I think when people generally hear about, Oregon-Washington State, that's going to be a shootout. No, it's not. This is going to be a little bit more of some defense will actually be played here. I'll lay the points. I'll take the under. And now, we got one more game left to pick, Eddie, and that is Notre Dame, Michigan, number 8 against number 19, under the lights in Ann Arbor. This line opened in some of the earlier books. The Action Network doesn't have it at this, but it opened with Michigan as a 4-point favorite. The Action Network had it slightly lower. They had it at 2.5 opening. But now, when we sit here on this pod, Michigan's no longer the favorite, Eddie. When we are now picking this game, Notre Dame is a 1-point favorite in this game. And this is one of the most hilarious line movements that I've ever seen. 74% of the tickets, 78% of the money on the Irish. Oh, hang on a second.
Fuck Michigan.
Oh, that feels good. I'm glad we already got it started.
Shout out whoever that was.
The red plague on that one. Oh, that's great. So, all that being said, look, we saw how Michigan came out against Penn State. I know it was on the road. I know that they came back and they made it look a little bit better. I lay that at the feet of Penn State. Michigan's offensive line hasn't looked great. Their offense in general has been, I don't know. You can't see me if you're on the podcast, but I'm just kind of gesturing wildly into the air right now. I don't know what the hell that offense is. And here's the other thing as well. That defense, that Don Brown defense, has probably been the worst part of that team. They didn't look good against Army. And the defensive line doesn't seem to be getting that much pressure. The only time they did was against Iowa, and that offensive line, I think, has been proven to be kind of trash. They had a rough time against Army, and it wasn't an aberration. They had a rough time against Penn State in the first half, and that's what happens when good teams start playing them. Here's the other thing to keep in mind. Despite all the nightmares we've had at Ann Arbor, Jim Harbaugh has yet to win as an underdog. Guess what he is just now? Give me Notre Dame. Fuck Michigan now and forever. You suck so bad, you will always suck. Harbaugh would dream of having an exit strategy. He sent that letter because he's mad he doesn't have an exit strategy. His enemies are not the reason try to put Michigan in disarray, sir, you have done that all by your milk drinking, state eating, khaki wearing ass self. Enjoy your beatdown. Give me the Irish. Who do you got, Eddie?
Ryan, I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned that my hatred has clouded my judgment. I watched that Michigan Penn State game last week, and I was chomping at the bit. I think at one point I even tweeted out, I am so fucking excited to play this Michigan team. And yet, I agree with you. I watched Penn State take their foot off the gas and piss the lead away. But again, it wasn't because of anything Michigan did. It just seemed like Penn State started doing dumb shit all the time.
Yep.
Which, hey, what do you know? James Franklin team doing dumb shit on game day. Weird. I'm sitting here licking my chops. I thought Michigan's offense looked terrible. I thought their defense looked easily exploitable. And then everything I read for the next 4 days, people are falling over themselves, verbally filleting Michigan for their offensive prowess in a game they scored fucking 21 points. I don't know what I'm missing. And then I'm sitting there. I was our mutual friend D-Law talking to him, and we're talking, what do you think the spread's going to open? And I said it should open about Notre Dame -6, but because of home field, even though you've been to the big house, I've been to the big house, we make jokes about how Notre Dame doesn't get loud. Michigan, the big house is half that. Yeah, there's a lot of people, but I think the median age is 62, and I don't know if that decibel level's ever reached above 38. Like, there's no home field advantage there. I said, even with all that, maybe you make it Indy -4. And then I wake up on Sunday to a Stuart Mandel tweet saying that they've got books that are opening at Michigan -4. And I'm genuinely stunned. I don't understand it. SP Plus, because he lost the ampersand in the move, plus, if you will, from Bill C, which Bill C, great analytics guy, very smart, hell of a lot smarter than me, does all the model shit. It's usually a very good model, but it's been absolutely in love with Michigan all year. And I feel like every time I've seen Michigan play, Army, Mitsu, Wisconsin, last week, no matter what, this team looks bad. I mean, okay, we'll say mediocre at best. Their offense fucking sucks. Shea Patterson's terrible. The defense does not concern me that much. I mean, you watch what KJ Hamler was able to do to him last week. He's incredible. That kid's fast as hell. This Don Brown defense got its ass kicked by Chris fucking Fink last year. Noted Wolverine killer Chris Fink. If he's going to wake up at any point this year, it's got to be this game. Our running game has really found its stride. Tony Jones has been fantastic. The O-line has been great. Now you're adding in a healthy Jafar Armstrong. The line has had a week to rest up. Tony's had a week to rest up. Cole Kmet, fully healthy. Chase Claypool should be fully healthy. The Wolverine killer, Chris Fink. God bless. I'm hoping he is saving all of his ability for this game because he's been
he's been suspect this season.
This year.
And he got Young off the collarbone, another week to heal too.
Exactly. So Notre Dame's coming in fully healthy. Flip it to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Shea Patterson really scare you?
Nope.
You get Sean Crawford back. The secondary has been solid. The D-line, again, incredibly talented. Yeah, the numbers haven't really backed it up. A lot of teams have been able to scheme around it. The linebackers, though, have been incredible improvement over what we were expecting. The guys at Notre Dame, our blogger, earlier today put out a kind of mid-season looking back on their early prediction thread, which go give it a read. It was really good. Again, my favorite Notre Dame blog, without doubt. But they had a Well, what else is going to be? I mean, I guess the 18 stripes guys are good too. That's fair. I should give them credit, but I really like
your mic.
That being said, they had a great point about the linebacker play and how we were all coming in. You and I had this conversation. The two things we were most concerned about: linebackers and the kicking game. The linebackers have been outstanding, and holy shit, again, whoever talked to Dorr in the offseason and mind melded him into what he's become, please holler at me. I will give you untold amounts of dollars to make me improve my life somehow. There is just nothing on this Michigan team that really scares me. Their receivers are solid, but they don't have any, world beaters. And I feel like our cornerbacks and our safeties are at a much higher level. I don't think we're going to repeat the Gary Gray immolation game.
Oh, Jesus, I hope not. Still have nightmares about that.
You and me both, man. That I don't see a weakness that's that outstanding here. I will say Ian Book still scares the shit out of me. I don't like how he's looked at all. I don't like how his career has progressed in any way. Even if you look at last year, some of the late games got a little sketch. That's all scary, but all that being said, fuck Michigan. We're coming off a bye. They're coming off a huge emotional letdown, and they're just not that good. I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know what Vegas saw. I don't know what the numbers saw. But obviously, as you said, Vegas has been chasing this number all week.
I don't think they're done either. I really don't think they're done.
No, I bet by kick, I would not. I think definitely 1.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in D-2. I think this line's off. I don't get it. And maybe my hatred is blinding me. That's very possible because I fucking hate Michigan. And it's, as USC I hate because of what they did to me when we were in college. Michigan is a much more visceral hatred, though, because they're just bad people. I had the worst fan experience I ever had at a game was at the Big House. And then you look at the history, people ask, oh, well, why didn't Notre Dame join the Big Ten? Because Michigan's bigoted ass kept us out. Fuck Michigan. We're going to beat them. Honestly, I think this is a 2-score game. Fuck them.
I do too. I mean, and look, hatred and homerism may be blinding me as well. But one of the things I keep, and it's a lasting memory, is how much Army was behind Michigan's offensive line. They were giving up TFL after TFL to fucking Army.
And hey, shout out to the troops, but they don't have Khalid Kareem or Julian Okwara or Jameer Jones.
Yeah, and they don't have Kyle Hamilton lurking in the backfield. Look, and the other thing that needs to be mentioned is Michigan cannot hold on to the football. Literally, they fumble all the damn time.
Oh, they're one of the worst on turnovers, on turnover margin, and we're one of the top turnover margin teams in the country.
Exactly, and here's the thing is that Clark Lee, and you can see it in the SC game, like what the reason some of those backs were getting some of those extra yards is because Irish are trained. It's go after the football, try to strip the football. You're going to have a ball hawking defense against a team that seems to have fucking butter on their gloves every single goddamn time. Yeah, they're going to cough up the football. And that's how these Michigan games have gotten murdery. Here's how the ultimate dream scenario I have, Eddie, is that it turns out a lot like a certain game where we remember the 6.
Yup.
Where Michigan comes out, is turnover prone to no end, and that's just the story of the game. And they can't hold on to the ball, and when they do, they can't get anything going.
Yeah, and this time when Kyle Hamilton has a pick 6, they're not going to call some bullshit off-the-ball penalty to wipe it off the board.
Shea Patterson ain't worth the hit. All right? It ain't worth it.
Shea Patterson ain't going to try and get anywhere near the play, though, either.
This is very true. God, I almost spit out my drink there. Yeah, there's nothing about this Michigan team that's been impressive. And it's one of those things to where, as people have asked me before, it's like, well, and both, at work, on Twitter, just general conversations from Notre Dame fans. It's like, but doesn't Vegas, you look at Vegas lines and stuff. Didn't Vegas know something? It's like, no. If Vegas thought they knew something, they would see the huge public amount of betting on Notre Dame. They would just say, oh, we're going to make some money today and don't move the line. We've told you when these lines stink. That's when Vegas knows something and we feel like we're walking into a trap. When Vegas doesn't seem to know who the spread is, and look, going from a slight favorite to a slight underdog does not happen by Wednesday. I'm not even talking about on Wednesday night. I'm talking about by the time I was packing up to leave work, it flipped over. That does not happen normally. Vegas does not have a huge swing like that, especially in a game of this magnitude. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I may be overconfident. I may be overzealous. Saturday night, I could be eating crow when we come on here live on twitch.tv/LittleSuns after the game. But I don't think I am. I really don't, Eddie. I just really don't. I'm feeling good about this one. I'm ready to go, especially after a bye week to steal on it. Oh, I'm ready.
Man, I'm right there with you. I was chomping at the fucking bit watching that Michigan Penn State game. I was like, oh, I wish we were playing this team right now, because I just don't see it. And hey, as fans of the podcast know, I am prone to anger and hatred when it comes to college football.
No.
A little bit, I try to let it out in the realm of sports so that in my real life I can be the happy, loving person that everyone knows me to be. But I don't get it, man. I feel like this team is mediocre at best, and they've been mediocre at best all year. Sometimes a team is going to show you what they are. People will show you what they are. And I feel like Michigan has done that over and over and over. And yet something in the sports math trusts them. And that, I don't know, that's weird.
It's a very Michigan man thing to convince them that they have a shot in this one, to be honest.
Hey, I mean, how many times did we hear that they actually won a game against us because they had more time of possession and rushing yards?
Yard points.
Yard points, that's what it was. These fucking clowns. Michigan is terrible. They are bad people led by worse people. I hope we never play them again. I loved when we beat them and ended the series. I don't ever want to play them again. They're trash. We can play fun team. We can go to Austin and play Texas. We can go to Athens and play Georgia. We got a home in Wisconsin. Let's have those games.
Florida's on Twitter asking for some action.
Hell yeah, let's go down the swamp.
Let's do it.
Let's go. I'll call up Spencer Hall and Ryan Nanny and see if we can't get them on the pod. Shit.
Oh God, that was.
There's no way they would. There's no way they would, but it'd be funny. But fuck, man, these are terrible humans, and I need to preface this. I've got some Michigan friends on Twitter. They're great. They know what I mean. I mean, as the whole. But when it comes down to it, kids, again, we don't give a shit about bowls right now. We don't give a shit about playoffs right now. We don't give a shit about rankings right now. This is hatred. This is visceral shit. This goes back decades. This is Bo Schembechler hating and keeping out the university from the conference because they're Catholic. This is people throwing shit at us in the big house as we're beating them our junior year. These fools are trash. I hope you all have a great weekend. Go Irish. Hail Gamblor. And now more than ever, fuck Michigan.
All right. Thank you for everybody that joined us live over here on twitch.tv/LittleSuns. We'll be back tomorrow night for the sim, and Saturday night, soon after the game concludes, we'll be back here once again. And of course, we are here on the podcast as well. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to get your podcasts at. Oh.
Fuck Michigan.
And with that said, go Irish. Fuck Michigan. Have a good one.
F you. Michigan.
That was beautiful. Good job, everybody, and have a good one.